So we're back down here at Red Hill Cutlery with Joe, and we're talking about basically the DNA of a knife design that's been around for a real long time, and it's the Bowie or Bowie knife. Everybody tells me I pronounce it wrong in the comments, so I'm just going to say it however. But where it comes from is an old design, which is the Viking sew or seax, and they take that from the name the Saxon people because that's what they used to carry, was a knife very similar to that, and it was basically their do-it-all knife. They cut their food with it. They use it to defend themselves in the field. A lot of different companies make them, but Cold Steel is known for making big knives and especially like historical replicas of old designs. And this is one of them, and it's one of my favorites. But if you take a look at it, you can see where the DNA of a Bowie comes into play because those are very similar. When you hold them side by side, here, take a hold of that. And you can see the evolution of it from looking at one to the other one with that down sweep, that nice, this one's got a little more belly on it, but actually they even have folders that for a time people would carry a folder known as a Wharncliffe that actually has very similar design lines as the Sax or the Saxon blade. So that was one thing I always found interesting, was how they morphed it from the Sax into the Bowie. So what can you tell me about that design?
Well, this one, the Wharncliffe design, actually, I don't know if it actually came from the Saxon blade or not, but you'll see a lot of these. These are actually starting to make a comeback in the everyday carry and just general pocket knife usage world. You'll see cases now starting to come out with more of them. Pretty much every company now is kind of caught on to this because it's easier to sharpen, and it probably would have had to be if it had come from, the Saxons or the people who probably didn't have access to a sharpener that would take care of a recurve. Right. And they probably just rubbed it against a stone. So something like this would have been ideal. And another cool thing, little tidbit about the Bowie, designed by Jim Bowie and his brother. This was cut. It was modified after the Sax, but this was actually cut here a little bit deeper to facilitate throwing.
Okay.
Now, the bladesmith that Jim Bowie originally, the very first Bowie knife that he actually commissioned, the bladesmith actually sharpened this inner clip by mistake, and that was how you'll see some Bowie knives actually have this sharpened up in there. But originally, that was for holding while they were throwing, because Jim and his brother were, they were kind of wild, and you kind of saw that at the infamous sandbar fight.
Yeah. Now I noticed, I'm assuming this is for when they're parrying or whatnot to protect the fingers. But do you know why this sweeps up? And I'm assuming this sweeps down so that way anything deflects down off of it. But do you know why this is upswept like that?
This is upswept because sometimes, especially if say a blade gets tangled, or if a knife comes past well, first of all, you don't want it coming down like this and digging into your wrist.
Right.
And this will also help kind of keep, like, let's say a blade makes it past yours. This would also help to kind of deflect it upwards. Yeah, it's a very nice guard, though. I like it a lot.
Yeah, that's really nice. And this Cold Steel makes this one as well. I know I've seen videos that there's actually people who have whole knife fighting styles based on this particular knife, a big knife. And a lot of times I've seen them pair it with a usually like a tomahawk or a little hatchet or something like that.
Native American combatives.
Yep. And they actually speak specifically about this swedge and sharpening it because there's I think it's called a back cut or something, where once you come down, instead of having to turn your blade around, you just pop it with your wrist that way, and you can still get a cut with it. So yeah, that's just some interesting aspects about the Bowie knife design, or Bowie knife, the Sax, the Wharncliffe. I can't remember the fellow's name who Wharncliffe is named after, who popularized that name, but I remember he was royalty in one of these countries, England or somewhere like that, that actually favored a knife like that. But it definitely has echoes of the Sax design. So, and they carry both of these, or all three of these actually, at Red Hill Cutlery. So check